Hi bowlers, welcome to another episode of Strikes, Spares, and Gutters. I'm Gary Bain. You know, back in the Old West, the young gunslingers that were coming up were called young guns, or at least that's what they tell us in the movies. I'm doing interviews with some of the up-and-coming bowlers here in Lubbock, Texas, and today's guest is Stefan Wood. He's the son of Bill and Monica Wood at Whitewood Lanes. I've seen Stefan around the bowling alley since he was about this tall. And as you can see, he's grown up and become an exceptional bowler here in league play in Lubbock, Texas. He knows his equipment, he knows how to read the lanes, he's very, very competitive in league play, and he does have aspirations maybe later on down the road to join the PBA. I think you'll enjoy the interview with him. He gives us some insights into his game, how he approaches the oil, how he handles the transition when the oil goes a little wacky. Here's Young Guns, Part 1, Stefan Wood.
I was about 10. We were living in the Dallas area at the time, and my dad had just started going back into leagues after leaving bowling for the longest time. You know, I was really curious about it. I was very interested, and my dad just signed me up for league. Funny enough, it was on the last day of the season, but they let me sign up, and that was about 9 years ago. You know, it's definitely helped my game a lot. Fortunately enough for me, I have the opportunity to practice quite a bit, and it definitely helps me out. But at the same token, you know, you're never gonna get better without good, solid practice. That started because I was in a sports shot league over the summer, one summer, and I was not doing well whatsoever in that league. I didn't really know what I was doing, and so I was like, why don't I go two-handed? You know, I'd practiced it before, and it just was fun. I actually did it for a whole summer and started averaging 200. Nowadays, I'll only use that if I'm just having fun here and there. I don't use it anywhere near as often. Two-handed is a totally different game. On part of it, you have to get athletic enough to where whenever you bend over with that ball with your two hands, because you're having to completely contort your body, most people actually can't see what they're looking at for like a split second, then they have to refine it. Frankly, it takes a big toll on your body, on your knee and your back specifically, and I've already had back and knee problems through all the sports that I've played, and I don't see myself going to it consistently. The other day I saw a post by Chad Murphy, who's one of the USBC directors, asking for a one-word answer on Facebook, essentially what's led to all the higher scores nowadays. Is it A, the equipment, B, the lane patterns, or C, the coaching? And you have to assume that it's all of the above, but the equipment, while it does help, I don't think it's made as truly big of a difference in the high scoring as people lead it on to be. I think that the lane patterns are what make the biggest difference. You know, the lane patterns now, they're a lot more consistent. So for the most part, your league bowlers are going to know what to expect week after week. Whereas back in the day, they had a little bug sprayer, and you know, it could be wildly different from lane to lane. What I like to do is I'll come in and I'll try to throw different lines from the whole lane straight up, like certain boards, and see, you know, just like how much the ball hooks depending on the board. I'll try to find an area as to what gives me the most forgiveness initially, you know, and try to see which ball gives me a good reaction through the pins, you know, which ball gives me good pin action, because that one's crucial as well. Which ball will consistently turn the corner and make it back into the pocket without, you know, rolling too early or rolling way too late. But when the transition starts, that's when literally when I start praying, I guess you could say. That's when you really have to start trying to figure things out. That's when your knowledge of your equipment comes into play. You know, that one's just one of those. Whenever transition starts, I just watch the ball from front to back. Left to right doesn't matter to me at that point. It's just watching the ball from front to back. If it starts rolling too early, you know, I can make a hand adjustment. If it's still doing it, then I have to make a ball change. And one of my things is if I throw a good shot and I'm just that pumped and it's a close match and I needed to make a shot, I scream, "Let's go!" That one's mine. Actually, there's two really that stick out in my mind the most, and that's just because, like, my dad, who's my coach, you know, he harps on it all the time, and he used to harp on one of these all the time, and it was a constant. Like, if he looked at you one way, you knew. It was one was strike a pose. When you throw your shot, make sure you stay in that finish position up until that ball goes through the pins. That way you can stay stable throughout your shot. You can't have stability without being able to, you know, stay standing afterwards without really moving. And the other one would have to be just to stay smooth. Because in bowling, that is your biggest friend, smooth. But the first thing I'll do when I'm walking up to go bowl is I'll grab my chamois off of where I put it. It's usually like the keyboard or wherever, just for convenience. And then I'll wipe down my ball. I'll circle around where the oil rings are 3 times, and I'll test primarily my heel to see if it'll stop my foot fairly decently. I'll test it 3 times, and I'll wipe it off 3 times. Right before I test the heel, I'll blow into the thumb hole real quick, just like shot of air there, and I'll find the board that I want to stand on, and then I'll blow into my thumb hole again, and I'll kind of almost like jam it, although it's kind of loose. I'll kind of jam it in there and try to find that right fit, and then I'll look up and I'll find my line, and then from there I'll just come in and I'll have like the ball up here, and I'll kind of just, I guess you could say wiggle, but it's more like I'm setting the ball in place to where what's comfortable and what shot I want to throw. When I get on the approach, my primary goal as far as my mental game goes is don't think. If I'm in a match, then and I'm on the approach, I'm looking at my board and I'm getting kind of like a tunnel vision on that exact spot that I want to hit like 15 feet down lane. I'd like to try my luck on the PBA tour. That'd be really cool. But I'd like to get like a solid base in my life as far as, get through college, get stuff like that. I'd get, a solid base, and then maybe try my luck during the weekends, and hey, if it works out, then so be it.